Usually when guys talk about dating skills and how to seduce a girl, they mostly talk about their successes. And for once, I thought it could be a great idea to talk about the failures also. So here are for you something that hurts, my worst rejections ever.
Scarlet! Not sure I deserve that.
So I used to say that anything you can say can work, but it has to be said at the right time and in the right way. There were moments where I definitely did not apply that rule because I didn't really understand it yet. The first one was when I was starting with neuro-linguistic programming. I was starting to get aware of, the visual system, the auditory system, the kinesthetic system, reading the eye patterns of people. I was starting to get attuned to all of that, and it was apparent for me into everybody. Truth be told, I was chatting with a girl through text, and she was an artist. I asked her to send me a painting she made, or like a drawing she made. She sent me something on which I could see a lot of implied unconscious details, implying that she was a heavily auditory thinker. I pointed that out because it was so fascinating for me. I pointed out that she was an auditory thinker, and I explained to her with 2 fucking paragraphs how I had figured that out. The problem though was she didn't ask for any of that, and she didn't even want to know about any of that. So she thought it was just weird from me to use all of those mind-reading tricks, whereas she didn't even ask for anything. The only reply she had was, so you're trying to manipulate me by reading my mind, I won't tell you anything anymore. And she meant it, so she did not even reply anymore to anything else I said. Yep, bad mistake here. Lesson learned, don't try to analyze people if they don't ask for it. Maybe keep it for later if they have been asking for it. The second worst rejection was in a nightclub. I was, back in that day, challenging myself to go in clubs alone, with no drinking, no alcohol, nothing, just me, myself, alone in clubs with the intent of approaching groups of people because I wanted to break my social anxiety and fear of approaching and being social in general. So I challenged myself to do that and to approach as many groups of people, girls, guys, whatever, in a club. One of the lines I had to try to break the ice in the beginning was, I am trying to find a really rich girl who will buy me anything. And that was obviously said in a humorous way. It was a joke, it was meant to be understood as a joke, it was not serious at all. But and most of the time it was passing by, it was working, like they said, oh yeah, this one, she's rich, yeah, just talk to her. That was okay. One time, it was I think 3 girls, and I approached one of them in the club and I used that line, and she took on one of those, rude and harsh accents, telling something like, I'm gonna try to translate in English, but saying something like, just go play with your toys, boy! Something like really rejecting me, like, why do you even talk to me, basically. That was such a really rude way of telling me to shut the fuck up and go away. Luckily, I was mentally trained enough to not take that personally and say, okay, fine. I moved on and kept using the same line with other girls in turn, and I still spent a great night at the end. I didn't go home with anyone, obviously, but it was still cool. So the lesson here is, some people are just in a bad mood anyway, whether you are here or not. That's not always your mistake if they reply in a harsh way. Sometimes they're just not in the mood, and that's fine. Not everyone has to be happy to see you all the time. I learned that from experience here, and from that day I didn't even really take rejections personally anymore, because I realized using the same phrase on different people is sometimes really well accepted and sometimes really rejected. In the end, just some people want to be approached and some people don't. That's completely fine. Number 3 was, it was a girl I had met in a boxing gym like 1 year ago or 2 years ago, and we met again randomly into a sportswear shop where she was working during the summer, and We had a small chat. She seemed happy to see me again, at least I thought so. Really seemed like a pretty gentle conversation. So we exchanged the phone numbers and said, yeah, we can hang out someday, in a pretty normal way, nothing like intimate yet. And I texted her the same day, I think, or just the day after. And it was the moment where I was starting to study speed seduction and all those seduction language patterns, hypnotic language patterns, and I was trying to craft the smartest, most hypnotic line you could ever think of, which did not really work that much, because I said something like, I would try to use the pacing and leading, so yeah, it is crazy how sometimes people who did not meet each other for a while just still can experience a great connection. Yeah, she replied, well, we have never been that close, what are you talking about? And that put a cold on me, like I thought it was supposed to get her hypnotized when I say this. Not at all, it didn't work at all. And I was caught off guard here. I didn't really know how to reply then, so I kind of stopped the conversation here because I was clueless about what to say next. That was the early stages when you are just a beginner and don't really know how to reply. Lesson learned here. Keep it simple. You know, the KISS strategy, keep it short and simple. I think that is the best advice. Just go straight to the point and be nice and gentle, but don't try to overcomplexify what you want to say. Go straight to the point, even with hypnotic language. At least make short sentences, at least. Long sentences can be great in poetry if you write her stories once you are in a relationship. Yes, but in the beginning, just stay short and simple. That is more than enough. Number 4, really bad one. I was attempting for the first time, I think, to use the neg, the technique of the neg from the mystery method, explaining that if you say some slightly mean comment to a girl who is overly confident, she will lower the level of self-confidence and be more open to sexual advances. That is a theory. I don't have any science to back that up. That is the theory behind one of the theories used in the mystery method. And as anything else, I think you should try before saying it is right or it is wrong. If you have an opinion, did you even try it? If you have tried it and you have an opinion, that's a good one. If you have never tried it and you have an opinion, shut your mouth. Thank you. So I tried it myself and it was not a great experience at all, because I used it, but I used it with a girl who was not overly confident at all. She was even pretty insecure, and she really took that badly and stopped talking, because I said something like, we have been talking for 5 minutes. It felt like 5 hours. And in the book, they said this line works because she will be shocked and then want to grab your attention again. That's what was written in the book. I tried, didn't work like this at all. And I understood later it is about calibrating. Yes, those kinds of mean lines work if the girl is overly confident and overly already mean with guys around. Yes, but if she's insecure and kind of introvert, no, that's really not the thing to say. So I really felt bad for saying that, because I didn't even mean to say that. It was just an experiment for me. And I realized it was not it was not even a good thing to say anyway, so...
Maria.
I suppose you didn't deserve that one either.
No, that one I deserve.
I could still go on with the conversation despite that, luckily, because she was really cute, but I figured out, okay, it is about calibration. Not everything works with everyone. Every girl is different. Not all of them are nice and not all of them are mean. It's just different personalities. The best is to be able to adapt based on their personalities, whatever they are. Number 5, last one, is eventually the most embarrassing. It was when I was in high school, so even before all the mystery method, speed seduction, before studying all of those things. So I had zero knowledge about how men and women should interact. Like, my level of understanding was close to below the ground, like even worse than that. I had no clue of how to interact, how to be humorous, how to make a joke to a girl. I had zero understanding of anything about that. Twice during that time frame, once in middle school and once in high school, no, even 3 times during that time, I could see there was like one girl who seemed to like me as a friend, at least, at the very least. And I tried to elaborate on a way to hang out with her, but I had no clue of how to do that. The only thing I used 3 times in 5 years, really not a good learning procedure back in the day for me, 3 times in 5 years, I found a way to interject in the conversation. What if I was asking you to become your boyfriend? I just pulled that out of the blue, out of nothing. Like, there was no sexual tension, there was no hugging, nothing. And I just tried to say that out of the blue, like almost trying to get verbal approval before any signs of attraction, of real attraction, were being displayed. All of them blushed, got really uncomfortable, and just said something like, well, I'm not really looking for a boyfriend, thank you. And then kind of got away, and in the classroom they kind of started avoiding me. So it was not the best, and I was just embarrassed because I was clueless about how is it supposed to work. So I know guys who have a girlfriend by now, or even women who have a boyfriend by now, they tend to think after the years that it's just all intuitive, or you should just be yourself and talk normally, it will happen. That is just not the case when you're young, you don't have experience yet, it is just not happening that easily. And I know how depressing it can be when you're at that age and you have no clue about how to approach, how to say this or that. So I am with you, really, if you are there, I know what it is, I have been there, don't give up, it is really my best advice. If you want some strategies and some tools I have developed down the road, you have a method down below called the 9 themes of conversation to get her immediately attracted. Those are themes of conversation I have developed through the years for, you know, what to say. It is not a line-by-line structure, but it is more general themes of conversation and understanding where should you bring her mind to by using that theme of conversation and when to use which one, because based on if you are in the initial stage of an interaction or if you are already at a phase where there has been some hugging, she has been here holding your hand, stuff like that, then you can definitely escalate to more direct themes of conversation, more sexual topics. Not in the beginning though. So I discovered that through the years personally by gathering experience. That is my personal 2 cents on the topic. If you want to check this method down below, up to you. If you don't want it, no problem. Keep going on your own journey. In any case, thank you for listening and thank you for watching. Leave a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you soon in the next video.